Walking forwards is something that we do every single day, and of course it makes sense because we can see going forwards and our bodies are generally built for us to walk forwards. But how about walking backwards? One of the things that the body likes is balance, and when we do something the same thing all the time, sometimes it can bring about imbalance, and sometimes this can actually present some issues. So in this video, I'm going to show you my 3 huge benefits to walking backwards as an exercise, and perhaps why you should start doing it. Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Dr. Steven Hulme. I'm a chiropractor currently based in the Oxfordshire area, and thank you again for tuning in for another video. And this one's a little bit different. As you would have noticed, I've done lots of videos on this channel on walking, why we should be doing it, the benefits of walking. But this one's going to be a bit different. Instead of the normal traditional walking forwards, I want to look at walking backwards. So I was introduced to walking backwards by a guy on YouTube called Ben Patrick. He's referred to as the knees over toes guy. And he is a guy that had really bad knees. He actually had knee surgery a long time ago and created a bunch of exercises based on certain principles to build the strength back into his knees. And now he has full function back into his knees, and he says that he's in better form than he was ever in. His principle is, based on his name, is that our knees need to be strengthened over our toes. And the reason why he makes a big point about this is because the standard practice is to squat or lunge with our knees behind our toes. And this is really based upon a study that was done a long time ago that looked at the amount of pressure that's in the knee when our knee goes over our toes, and they found that the further over the toes that they go, the more stress and more likely you are to injure the knee. And that's very true. However, he turned this around and said, well, how about we strengthen our knee in that knees over toes position? And this is why I think it's become so popular. And the reason why it's important is because there's so many things that we do, lots of different sports that require us to be strong in the knees over toes position. One of them, for example, is jumping. And so if we're not used to putting our knees into that position, our ligaments, tendons, and our muscles aren't going to be used to being strong in that position. So his regime is really based upon strengthening your knees in that position. And this is where the backwards walking comes in. One of the things that Ben Patrick says is that the better you can walk backwards, the more protected you're going to be walking forwards. The reason why is because when we're walking forward, essentially, in a way, we're imbalancing our bodies. We're doing things one way, whereas our bodies really quite like to be in balance. And so in doing things both ways helps to balance that neurologically in terms of our brain, but also in terms of our muscles. And so the number one benefit to walking backwards is that it's going to help balance our muscles, particularly of our lower limb. Walking backwards requires a larger activation of the muscle that is at the front of your leg called the tibialis anterior, because now you're pushing off with that muscle, because you now need to get your toes off the ground in a dorsiflexion type of action, as opposed to the traditional way where we're using our calf muscles, our gastrocs and our soleus, where we have to then toe off and create some plantar flexion. So that's the first part, is that we're reversing that action of the foot. The other muscle that we're using a lot more is our quads, because now what we're doing is we're getting a lot more activation in a concentric manner, i.e. we are straightening and extending our knee, so we're getting a full activation of that quad. There was actually a study that compared forward and backwards running and found that the activation of the muscles in the lower leg was quite different to walking forwards. So walking backwards as well as walking forwards is going to give you different benefits, and it's why it's a really great exercise to do. The second benefit of walking backwards is that it is fantastic for reducing or fixing knee pain. There are so many people that have found their knee pain disappear after walking backwards for a period of time, simply just through backwards walking. And it makes sense because of the way that we're strengthening our quads. There was actually a study that looked at this, and they found that when they compared forward and backwards walking as an exercise, those that walked backwards had a significantly higher amount of people in that group that had a reduction in their knee pain. And the other thing that they found was an increase of their quad strength. When it comes to knee pain, the quads are the most common muscle to become weak, and they're also the most common muscle that, if strengthened, really helps to reduce knee pain. And this is what we saw in this study, and this is one reason why walking backwards is so good for us, because it strengthens the quad more than if you were simply just going to be walking forwards. And number 3, backwards walking has actually been shown to reduce the risk of fall and help you balance. There was actually a study on this that looked at those people that walked backwards and their risk of falls, and they actually found that those that walked backwards as an exercise and they did it for a period of time were much less likely to have a fall. And this makes sense because the most common direction in which you're going to fall, if you are going to fall, is going to be backwards. So by strengthening the muscles at the back, by practicing going in that direction, will give you more control when you're actually trying to balance your body. So this is something that I've started doing. I've now been doing it just 2 weeks, and you can do it just simply by walking backwards. But another great way of doing it, if you really want to increase the challenge of walking backwards and increase the burn into the muscle, the stimulation of those muscles, is that you can do it while pulling a sled. This is the most common way that people do it. You may want to start, if you're not that fit, you may just want to start just simply by walking backwards. Obviously do it in a safe area. But then when you want to start challenging yourself, you can use a sled that's often found in gyms, or you simply can just pull anything that you can find around the place. Just pull it. And Ben Patrick says that you should be able to walk backwards with a weight for around 10 minutes. So that's what you want to aim for. And so you use the weight that you can pull for 10 minutes. So I've been doing this for 2 weeks. And so what I'm going to do is, in a few months, I'm going to create another video and give you more of a breakdown of the results that I've personally got from doing this particular exercise. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice variety, and I really feel how it works with the muscles in my legs quite differently. So if you haven't given it a go, then give it a go and put in the comments how you get on with it, whether you have any results in terms of knee pain or hip issues or whatever it may be. And also put in the comments any new ways you find to be able to pull something, because the easiest way is if you've got a gym, then you can get the sled and put the weights on it. But not everyone has access to that. So there are many people out there that have improvised in all sorts of different ways, like putting tires and putting trolleys and different things. So if you find a really good way of improvising, then share it with everyone below. And it'd be interesting in hearing a variety of ways in which we can do this exercise. But if you haven't got anything, just walk backwards quite simply, and you could even just walk up a hill as well. That can then add some more challenge. As always, if you enjoy this type of content, then please do hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you'll be the first to hear about it. Any video suggestions, put it in the comments as usual, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you on my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.